and welcome back to episode 24 of the You Didn't Know Wrestling Show. The Who's number 24? Oh, it doesn't matter. Barry team was 25. Episode 24. Yes, Oh You Didn't Know Wrestling Show. I'm John Fisher, and your 24th tallest man in all of Nigeria, Brad Shepard. Do you frequent South America at any point?
I haven't. No, I
We have
have been
fans there.
to. Yeah, absolutely. I've been to several different countries, but I haven't gotten to South America yet. But yeah, I love the supporters of our show and my followers in South America. We do have quite a bit of those, and I'm very grateful for them.
Do you think if they put a Denny's in South America, do you think Dean could run there? I mean, it'd be a biathlon because you have to swim as well.
Well, I don't think he could swim there.
Yeah.
But I do think he could like ride the little, motor scooter from the like Walmarts for the old people,
So what you're saying is he's old.
I'm not saying he's old.
Okay.
I'm just saying he's not young.
So what you're saying is, was he there for Nick Bockwinkel's debut?
He was there for the Last Supper.
He was.
Rumor has it.
He ate the Last Supper.
He prepared the Last Supper. He ate it.
That is too funny. Yeah, I'm looking through our countries of origin of which our listeners derive from. Obviously, we're huge in the United States, really huge.
Right.
We're the best. It is followed by the United Kingdom, Canada, India, and Singapore. And
Very cool.
Yeah, how about that? We're not WWE. We don't judge you based on the color of your skin nor the country that you came from. We are open to all.
Geez.
Okay, all right. So let's play a little game called trivia. How many WWE champions are African American? I rest my case, and so on and so forth. Do you know I'm an eighth Canadian? Did you know that? That's
No,
a
I
shoot.
didn't. I didn't
That's a
realize
shoot.
that.
Yeah, my grandmother was born in, I believe it was Ontario. She's French Canadian.
Oh wow.
On one side, so I'm an eighth Canadian. I think it would be
Okay.
that's how it would work. But yeah, it's my Canadian friends.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey, that could explain your love for hockey as well.
That is true. That is very true. Did Boston win tonight, by the way?
Good question.
I can look that up.
Sure.
I'm not doing anything right now.
Yeah, we're not doing anything. It's not like we're actually running a podcast. So Boston lost to Columbus.
Did they lose tonight? Oh,
yeah.
Man.
I mean, which is not ideal, but because they won one on the road.
Yeah, that's big.
It's not as bad. They just need to win game 4. That's all.
Yeah, they do.
But Columbus has been really impressive, so respect to them.
Out of nowhere. How about that for a segue?
Out of nowhere, yeah.
Oh, man, that Money in the Bank match, well, both of them, rather, out of nowhere, are going to be really bad. No. Yeah, so, You Didn't Know Wrestling Show, and that's us. We are now on Spotify. I have transitioned myself from a Stitcher listener to a Spotify listener. It's very convenient. All you have to do is search in the search bar on Spotify where you search for your music, but you type in the podcast you want, and you hit follow, and you're done. You Didn't Know Wrestling Show, 24 episodes in. I already forgot what episode we're on. And if you don't like Spotify, if you're into that sort of thing, I don't know why you wouldn't be. iTunes is an option. Google Play, SoundCloud, and Stitcher are also options for you. Soon to be, fingers crossed, on iHeartRadio. So stay tuned for that as well. We'll let everyone know as soon as we hear something.
Yeah, we're fired up, and we're very close to being on 147 platforms. So we're very, very excited about that.
And 138 of them will be fake.
God. Oh, you went there. Oh, Jesus.
That's also a shoot, by the way.
Well, I gotta get sued.
Yeah. Who cares? Yeah. Yeah. Sure, man. That place puts Canada in a really bad light. But no, you can follow me, John Fisher TV, on Twitter. For Bradley, it is the Brad Shepard. So it's been weird like these last few weeks because I said I was going to watch the Hulu cut only. Well, I had to watch Raw early this morning, Tuesday, and Hulu cut wasn't available yet. So I had to resort to watching the whole show. But fortunately enough, if you have Xfinity, you can watch it on your phone and the recording. So I was, doing the DVR on my phone or my iPad, and while I was watching breakfast and getting ready for the day, and we're recording this probably I would say like 13 hours post when I finished Raw this morning. I could hardly remember what happened,
Yeah, I
and isn't that a
understand that.
shame?
Yeah.
Why is that? Is it just not memorable? I mean, just because of all the things that have happened, and I'm going to actually bump us up some here on the audio end. So if we get louder, adjust your volumes necessarily. Looking at Vince Russo's Twitter, uh, here it is. And Brad, you're going to like this. And I quote: WWE ratings getting to be like the limbo. How low can you go? 8 p.m. 2.3, 9 p.m. 2.2, 10 p.m. 1.898 million. This is what happens when you alienate your entire casual viewing audience. End quote. Wow, he put the hammer on him, man.
Well, I mean, it's another all-time modern low outside of football season last night, with an average
Yeah.
of 2.16 million viewers.
Or a holiday too, I think.
Yeah, the show only beat episodes of this past year's New Year's Eve and then Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So very, very low. First time under 2 million for Raw outside of a holiday. But, obviously, when you look at the viewer numbers, what's concerning to me is not just that, but also the fact that so few people are watching the show to begin with.
Yeah, and I've said this before, and I will say it again. And if you don't remember it, then that's on you. There are less people watching wrestling than ever before, and unfortunately, that's true. And the only way to get around that is to do what smart people do, and that's change. And it's changed to the casual audience. And we could sit around and recap Raw and SmackDown all night long, but we're much better than those type of podcasts. The thing about, and that's a joke. The thing about what we can do, and we can discuss and analyze what is exactly going on. Because while Vince Russo might be, stubborn and pissed off that he just will never get hired there anymore, he is not wrong for once. There are a few things wrong. Give me something that's going on that is wrong at this point in time.
I wouldn't even know where to begin. Probably, I mean, everything is so wrong. Like,
what's the most glaring to you?
Well, it's just not entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the most glaring. Ultimately, it's not entertaining. There's no continuity. There's no over-the-top characters for the most part. There is no compelling stories. And it doesn't even have to be like How to Get Away with Murder compelling. Mm-hmm. It's wrestling. But Jesus, could you at least do something? Make some effort other than two people in tights fake fighting with no story and no character?
It's not protecting the business, pal.
For 5 hours a week?
You got to protect the business.
And to be honest, John, I think, what we see typically is the decline continues throughout the NBA playoffs until it ends. And so I think This is only the beginning. I think the decline is going to continue through the NBA playoffs.
Well, you have to, and I know you know this, and I mean, the summertime, less people watch television. It's nice out. They go outside. They enjoy life. There are more things that you can do outside of watching professional wrestling, and that is totally okay.
Are you sure?
I would hope so. I would hope so. For the greater good, it is nice to do different things, whether go to a sporting event, if that is in your town, go to a bar, go to a restaurant, go take a walk outside, steal a car. I don't care. Go do whatever you want. I'm not endorsing that, but go do whatever you want.
Steal 2 cars. I'm not endorsing that either.
Break into the nearest Denny's, steal gift cards, and use them in different ones. Whatever you want to do.
I got to tell you, Dean's a pretty straight-laced guy, but I have a feeling like if there was one crime Dean was going to commit, it would be breaking into a Denny's. Now, I could totally see Dean stealing the food and then cooking his own Grand Slam breakfast at his house.
Okay, so I was gonna leave this alone, but I can't help it. So Dean is the all-American dad. We all know that. He's a great,
Yeah.
great dad to kids and a wife, and that's all I'll say about that particular thing. But every Easter, it's a tradition that he makes homemade buttermilk pancakes for his family. Now, I have to ask, do you? I hear these pancakes are divine. Do you think he goes to Denny's at 4 in the morning, steals all of their pancakes, and heats them up in the microwave before his kids wake up?
That sounds scandalous. I think he goes to Denny's. He takes all the food and then he pancakes his ass back to his house. Yeah, I think that's exactly what he's doing. I think he's manipulating his family. He's like evil dad, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Like there's another side to him.
I'm sorry, I had to get that in. Okay, back to see that's more entertaining than what happened on the two shows. So there's a lot of things we don't like to harp on the negative, right? Or we don't want to be stupid or a fool like Dave Meltzer, who claims that Eric Bischoff is an idiot. Wow, kettle meat pot, for Christ's sake, big dumb doofus, Jesus. So how about that? You want to touch on that? So Dave said in a tweet, valid and wide in the open, that Eric Bischoff is a fool, and then Meltzer got criticized, crucified all last week.
Yeah, well, and rightfully so. And of course, his subscribers, his supporters will defend him regardless. But there was a lot of people that, that didn't play well too. And yeah, I think Eric was right.
Oh my gosh, not a question. And maybe we can talk about that some other time. But and the reason I brought him up is just because there's a lot of pessimism surrounding what he and his co-hosts do on their show, and then what we're trying to avoid. We're not. I can speak for Brad. He's his own guy, but he's his own brain, and I'm not going to sit there and put words in his mouth. I would like to enjoy what we talk about every Tuesday night. It makes it more fun for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to bitch for an hour every Tuesday night, but sometimes you just can't help it.
Sometimes you just can't help it, John. That's why we
No.
end up sometimes not talking about wrestling, because if we do, it's just not going to be very positive.
Just example number one, okay? Yeah, the ratings are in the tank, and there's always this mantra that Vince takes like the summers off and then really starts to get it going around SummerSlam time. Maybe that's true. We're not even in. We'll be in May while you're listening to this, everyone at home. But we're not even into June yet. This is like the WrestleMania hangover. So I don't think Vince gives a shit, and I think it shows in the product. I mean, we're getting illogical storytelling. We're getting just random throwaway matches. Sure, we have the Money in the Bank participants out right now, but like, do you remember who's in each one? Could you name them if you had to?
Absolutely not.
All right. So I'll do that for you. Luckily, I have it open right now.
Ooh, okay.
So the men's Money in the Bank participants are as follows. From Monday Night Raw, you have, we'll start with the women because I can see their picture first. Natalya, Naomi, Dana Brooke, and Alexa Bliss. React.
Sounds like it's going to be boring and a terrible match.
That's only the Raw side.
Yeah.
But like Naomi, okay, Naomi's athletic, and I respect that.
True.
So
yep.
she and Dana Brooke is too. She has an athletic background, but there's more than just being an athlete than being a wrestler. It's more than just that. You're putting in Naomi and Dana Brooke, who bless their heart, they're not the greatest pro wrestler. So they don't know how to tell a freaking story. So why are they going to make me care to watch it? All right. Natalya, yeah, she's a pro, but she's boring. Alexa Bliss is fantastic. I don't think they're going to put it on her because she already won it. On the SmackDown side, has a little bit more star power to it. It's Carmella, Bayley, Mandy Rose, and Ember Moon. Now, if you had to pick any one of these 8 women to actually win it, who would it be? Who would make you care?
I have a different pick, and I'm going to talk about that in the breaking news segment. But it is not one of those 8 women superstars.
Okay, interesting. Speak as a fan for a second. Do you care about any of these 8 women winning Money in the Bank?
Absolutely not.
No.
Not even the slightest. I don't care, and I think the match will be pretty bad.
Here's a question that I have. What happened to why weren't there qualifying matches?
Are you kidding me? Again, it's just throw everybody into a match. There's no stories, etc.
Yeah.
This is a great example of that, John. So you have this big deal. It's Money in the Bank. You get a briefcase anytime you get the title shot.
Yeah.
And how important is it really when you're just hand selected to be in the match? You don't earn it.
It's boring.
It's stupid. It's boring. It's lazy.
100%. I was when last week when Alexa said that she was going to announce all the participants, I sat back and like, you're kidding me. Like, that was the whole point. Getting into the qualifying matches, sometimes you'd have to do 2, like to build an underdog story up kind of thing. And I'm like, that's great. That's what we need. Not this crap where we're just said it's like putting an 8-man tag together to get people on the show because they have nowhere to go.
Yeah, even the word participants is annoying in this context. I'm going to announce the participants. Like, everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets to be a part of this. Nobody earns anything. I'm just going to tell you who's participating.
Yeah.
Now, how about you tell us who are the WWE superstars that have earned this opportunity?
None. I mean, Alexa Bliss has wrestled 1 match in 6 months.
Well, and she booked herself in Money in the Bank. That was incredible.
Yeah, I didn't know she had that power. When was that explained?
Well, you just have to read between the lines, pal. This is real big brain storytelling.
All right. Moving on to the men. I'm going to go from Brad laughing to Brad impressed. Okay. Ali. See, guys, that's why I did it. Ali, Finn Balor, and Ricochet.
That's 3 very small wrestlers.
Andrade, getting up there.
4 very small wrestlers.
Okay. We like Andrade here. He's decent.
Yeah, he's okay at best.
He's okay at best. I'll take that. For a guy, I think he is above 205. Believe it or not, he has some muscle on him. Okay, moving up, Randy Orton. Hide your briefcases. Hide your bags.
Don't shake his hand.
Don't shake his hand either. Nope. Don't
Before the match, don't do it.
I wonder would Randy Orton do well as a Walmart greeter?
That's actually a good question.
What about greeting at church?
Well, that kind of fits in with his theme song. You've got your rules and your religion all designed to keep your faith. But when rules start getting broken, you start questioning your faith.
And and the smell of your hand. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you start hearing voices and you start RKOing people.
That'd be good. Okay, anyway.
That could be a good gimmick for him. Like, okay, so he's like this church boy, okay?
Yeah.
But then when everybody leaves the church, he pretends like he's obviously very friendly. He's there for worship. And as he's greeting people on their way out of church, he gives them an RKO.
Great. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, I think that would get over huge.
Well, they won't do it. Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, he's boring, but that's fine.
Braun Strowman.
He's also kind of boring and has really had his momentum kind of dropped. But yeah, that's fine too. We're getting to people who look like wrestlers.
And Baron Corbin.
Yeah, obviously, I like that.
Who lost clean to Ricochet.
You know, and I'm watching this goddamn son of a bitch. Like, I'm watching this tag team match, okay? And Ricochet from Paducah, Kentucky, who looks like he's old enough, he's big enough to be in high school, pins Baron Corbin. I don't care that it's fake. He can't pin Baron Corbin. Bullshit. You know what I would have done?
Yeah.
If they told me, you got to let this little guy beat you, I'd have said, no problem. I get in the ring with him, and then I would have just pinned him.
You've lost your smile.
I've lost my smile. I'm not putting him over. I'm putting the company. There's no way a guy who's 180 pounds is going to beat me. Absolutely not.
Okay. You know, as a caveat, it was a Braun Strowman power slam, and then only a shooting star press. He didn't even do the six. What does he call it? The 640. I don't know.
The flippity do, the Cirque du Soleil special, whatever the fuck it is. It doesn't really matter. It's all a bunch of stupid flips and not fists. And he should have squashed him out, a shot at him right in the ring and pinned him, and then went back to Vince McMahon and said, "How do you like me now, bitch?"
Well, goddamn. I like it. Whatever. Yeah, but it's, you know, I like Ricochet. I'm a fan. But objectively, no, it doesn't make much sense. It doesn't. Kind of like.
Well, it doesn't make sense. But I just have to keep going back to this because I'm watching this match, okay? And at one point there was 4 men in the ring, and I say men loosely because it was Baron Corbin, Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, and Ricochet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching them, and Ricochet looks like a child cosplay in the ring. He looks like he's trick-or-treating Halloween. I mean, he doesn't belong with these guys. How do you watch that and think Ricochet belongs with those guys in the ring and think it's believable? Now, if we're just pretending this is not believable, it's all performance, fuck it. Let's just have him do 20 flips and beat goddamn Andre the Giant.
Hey, if you're protecting the business, it's what it's all about.
But maybe we could actually, book him like he's not the toughest man in the world when he's sub 6 feet, sub 200, and facing guys the size of fucking Baron Corbin. I don't know.
I understand your frustration.
Well, it's like, okay, and then Raw, terrible ratings in the tank, one of the worst ever.
It was.
Let's keep pushing these indie dorks. That'll raise the ratings. I knew it.
Yeah. And this is hard for me to say, but would you know what? Would you like to finish my sentence? Do you know where I'm going with this?
I don't know where you're going.
Becky Lynch thing might be over.
Becky Lynch's over party.
Well, she needs her villain. She needs her Ronda Rousey. She doesn't have that right now.
And Ronda made Becky Lynch.
She did.
Ronda's not here, and the Becky Lynch thing is fading faster than Sasha's hairline.
Oh, ouch.
It's Becky Lynch's over party. Becky 2 belts, Becky 2 bottles, who went back to her 80s hairdo this week on WWE TV.
Oh, she did? Oh, yeah, she did.
And it's just boring. Her promos are boring. Her matches are just fine, vanilla, nothing special or exciting. The cracks are in the armor of the Becky Lynch experiment. The ratings are tanking, and the face of the company has been Becky Lynch. I don't know. You do the math.
There has been it's not just her. It's a team effort.
Okay, but who's been the featured performer? Who has been more featured in 2019 than Becky Lynch.
I would argue Seth Rollins has had a good amount of screen time too.
Yeah, Seth Rollins. Do you want to know one conversation or maybe two conversations those two don't have under the sheets at night?
No, go ahead.
What was the house and what are the ratings?
Yeah. Seth's been on a lot, man. He has. I you know. So I mean, AJ Styles. No, not even that much. No, not even AJ. No, probably her Becky and Seth have been the two top. How do you put it? They've been on the TV the most for the calendar year so far. Maybe that's saying something, right?
It is saying something. The ratings are in the tank. Live attendance is in the tank. Merchandise sales in the tank, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I don't know. There seems to be one theme here. Who was the WrestleMania main event? Who won the Royal Rumble? Who was, I don't know, featured on WWE TV and is featured on both shows as the dual champion?
Both of them.
That's low ratings Lynch.
But I would like to know this. I mean, the ratings were even bad when Roman was the main guy. So I don't know if anyone can fix it right now.
Well, all I see now is the ratings are even worse without Roman Reigns.
Yeah. I want to see how SmackDown's been doing, which is primed to be the #1 show in about 4 months, 5 months, 6 months.
And it's fair to say, I mean, it is fair to say there's a larger conversation about the entertainment of the overall product in every aspect outside of Becky Lynch. So I'm not saying that's not the case. I'm just saying, look, what you're doing is not working. You're clearly pushing one person as the face of the company this year. She's the primary story, the primary character, and ratings plummeting. Merchandise sales plummeting. Live event attendance plummeting.
Yeah.
I don't know. You tell me, is there something wrong with this picture?
You know, it's funny. We look at YouTube every week just to see what the casual YouTube viewer is going to. Seth and AJ's contract segment was #1 with 1.5 mil, and Becky and Lacey Evans with 862K at #2. So it's kind of a catch-22. Usually Becky's YouTube hits are very low.
One of the lowest, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're consistently at the very bottom.
But this week she used #2.
Yeah, this week she had Lacey Evans. That's a good point.
Bray Wyatt right behind the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so you said something really interesting to me a couple weeks ago, and you were talking about this like the lack of promo ability and creativity, just from a performer standpoint, and like just trying to like entertain the fans while they're cutting a promo out there. There's like 2 or 3 people that really can get a crowd going without having to do the cheap pop. That's obviously so easy and overdone. Sami Zayn and the McMahons. That's it. Those are the only ones that I see in Triple H. So a full-time performer, I guess Sami and Shane are the only two. They can cut a promo whenever they want, and they'll get such a reaction, whether it's good or bad, without even trying. But you see promos from like Seth and even Becky, or like Ricochet, or from like Kurt Hawkins or Zach. They're lazy, and The Miz too. I'm sorry, they're all lazy promo artists. Lazy.
Yeah, I think Seth is a terrible babyface champion. He's terribly generic and boring.
He's created a superstar.
Yeah, he's created superstar #1. I think you nailed it, John.
Yeah, he's excellent in the ring.
Okay, but the fights are fake. This is entertainment. This is a 3-hour TV show. It's entertainment. Yeah. I don't care if he puts on great fake fights. It's a 3-hour fucking TV show that's entertainment.
Yeah.
It's not a sport.
So I went and saw Avengers Endgame on Sunday night. I don't know if you like comic book movies. The movie was fantastic, but I have a reason for this. The movie was about its runtime. Actually, I'll tell you exactly right now.
I didn't see the movie, by the way. I'm probably the only one.
Do you want to see it? Do you like that stuff?
I may watch it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to see it.
Oh, okay. Well, did you watch any of the Marvel movies beforehand?
I have seen some of them, like after the fact. Okay. Way after they've been released as a movie.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's well worth it. It's worth like a $5 movie night coupon or something. Anyway, so Endgame runs 3 hours and 2 minutes. Long movie sitting in the same spot, right?
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw is 3 hours. Now, you say to yourself, how often am I going to go see Avengers Endgame in theaters? I'm probably going to see it again on like a $5 movie night. Okay. Um, I sitting there for 3 hours. I won't go to the movies and see it again. After that, I will gladly buy it on Blu-ray or wait till it comes out on Disney Plus in the fall. My point being, you have to sit through, and I was thoroughly entertained the entire time. Raw is 3 hours every week. I want to be entertained for 3 hours in a row. Surely that's very hard to do every single week, but make a fucking effort to do it.
Yeah, the most entertaining thing in the show to me, and I thought, by the way, the main event was a total flop. The main event segment with AJ Styles and Seth Rollins, I thought it was a lead balloon. It was underwhelming and boring. I thought it was a total flop.
Yeah.
So the most exciting thing on Raw for me was the Bray Wyatt Funhouse segment.
Yeah. So thoughts on that? Go into that. I thought it was. I thought it kind of flopped for me.
I like it because
you do?
I do like it. Yes, I do.
I don't not like
absolutely
it.
like it. It's a character. They're developing a character week by week before your eyes.
Yeah.
And you're seeing the beginning, and you're going to see how it evolves with some pretty cool dark things. And I mean, it requires patience, and we're in this ADHD society where it's instant gratification. We don't want to watch things build.
Yep.
We don't want to see a year build to a match. And I get that, but some things are good enough that they're worth waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
Sex isn't one of them.
Okay, no. I like the character. I like where this is going. I enjoyed the first one more than this one. I should have clarified. I didn't hate it. It felt shorter to me. And did you realize that they changed the name of the girl? It's now Abby, not Tammy.
Abby, Tammy, who cares?
True. That's a good point.
How did you not put over my sex comment? Like I snuck that in. It was like, oh. And then you just totally ignored it.
It was fine. It was fine. Like Baron Corbin.
That's fine. What she said.
No, you don't want her to say that. No, you don't. It was fine. It was okay. It was fine.
But it was 3 hours.
You know what? There's no way. I don't think that'd be possible.
Goddamn, pal.
Do you think Becky and Seth, whenever they're you said in between the sheets, I'll say that as well. When they're in between the sheets, they try to one up each other on how long their WrestleMania matches were?
I think he tries to burn it down.
And then Becky said, "What? I already burned down all the ratings." Sorry, cheap pop. Too easy. No. So we talked about Ricochet pinning Baron Corbin clean. That was a theme.
Yeah.
In this week's wrestling programming, because that wasn't the first. Well, that was the first time, but there was another instance of a tiny wrestler pinning a very large man. No, we're not talking about Dean pancaking the Denny's greeter. No.
Well, in all fairness to Dean,
yes.
Okay, it was 2 minutes after the hour. He thought they were open.
Yes.
But they hadn't opened the doors yet. And so he was getting a little panicky. His blood pressure was rising, and he just reacted.
That's true. So
fact check true.
Oh, wait, fact check. Get out of here. Jesus. So anyway, Rey Mysterio, with the help of did his son help? Like, what happened exactly? Because I don't
Uh,
remember.
well, I think like before we said, first of all, there's no way that can be Rey Mysterio's kid.
Yeah.
He's way too big.
Yeah.
But besides that, it should be his child actually wrestling Samoa Joe.
True.
His child would have a more believable chance.
Did Dominic actually help Ray pin during the match, or he just come out afterward?
He did not help him during the match. No.
Okay. So that makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Rey
It was
Mysterio.
a clean pin.
Yeah, he pinned Samoa Joe clean. I got a text from Dean or from
It was
Brad.
a roll up out of nowhere.
It was a roll up. Oh, this is gonna be the worst run in ever.
Yeah, I can already feel. I can already feel the heat coming off of Dean as he recorded this elbow drop.
Oh boy.
Mm.
Yeah. So, as everyone knows, Dean's least favorite wrestler of all time is Rey Mysterio because he's not believable. I mean, that's what he and Brad have in common. So, but I can't even ramble on any longer. Before any further ado, here we go. Let the hate flow through you, my child.
Hello, and welcome to the Elbow Drop. Now, John Fisher, I heard you talking last week about this desk that you sit over everybody. Well, Brad, come on. Don't be falling for this stuff. Yes, the desk where John Fisher sits, which is not his desk, by the way, it is elevated in our place of business. And that's so that when he stands, he can be at eye level with everybody because no one's looking up to 5'2" Fisher. So that leads us to this.
I told him you wear platform shoes.
Ironically enough, it's about someone small. It's about someone that maybe John Fisher can relate to, and Rey Mysterio Jr. He was correct last week in stating that my favorite WCW moment was when Kevin Nash lawn darted Rey Mysterio into the side of a trailer, and he obviously didn't get the job done because Rey Mysterio is still around. And I threatened Fisher's television at WrestleMania. If he beat Samoa Joe, I was going to destroy Fisher's television because there's no way, no conceivable way that that's believable. And it was a squash. And I know it was because of the injury, but it ended up being the most sensible booking that there could be, except Monday, WWE. I understand why Rey Mysterio is around, but having him beat the likes of a Samoa Joe is 100% not believable. It will never be believable for a guy that small to beat a guy that big, no matter what. Do you want to see how a small guy can beat a big guy? See how Bret Hart beat Diesel, and I forget which Survivor Series it was. It was obviously before 97. Might have been 95, I want to say. That's the only way that conceivably it's believable. Don't insult our intelligence with this crap anymore, WWE. And that is the Elbow Drop. Thank you for being in the Funhouse.
Now we're in the Funhouse.
Yeah, I could totally see Dean being that Bray Wyatt Funhouse character.
You could?
Again, yeah, absolutely. Again, it goes back to the two sides of Dean, the two faces of Dino. Yeah, that we just talked about. So I could see that. But, I mean, I understand what he's saying because, you know, the truth is there's more believability in Rey Mysterio's son beating Joe than Rey Mysterio beating Joe.
Mm-hmm.
again, like I would all be down for like let's just get Braun and Baron and Drew together, and let's just see who can toss Rey Mysterio the furthest on Monday Night Raw.
I love that.
That would be more entertaining than 90% of the segments we see.
But wouldn't people get really, really offended by it, though? You know.
Good point, John. We'd better cancel that idea because it may offend a few fans online. Good point.
Yeah, a few. I think just a few. Yeah, probably just a few. So, and I mean, you and him kind of agree a lot, don't you know?
Yeah.
It really, and we make jokes here, but it honestly doesn't make much sense, for real.
Well, just the fact that the way Rey Mysterio pinned Samoa Joe, I mean, come on, it wasn't believable that Samoa Joe couldn't kick out of that.
Yeah,
it's like the whole thing's again, it's just not believable. Mm-hmm. So to Dean's point, he is correct.
Yeah, I just don't. It's every week. I just don't care. I just don't care. I want to care. I just want to care. Is that so much to ask? I want to care about the wrestling that I watch. Like, good God. I'm over not giving a shit anymore. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, very, very boring stuff. So that pretty much that recaps Raw. I don't think SmackDown was really any better. I thought it was also very boring.
That was Survivor Series 95, by the way, Dean. Survivor Series 95. I mean, we had a Shane and Roman interaction, and then he brought out the B team.
Cool. Yeah, and remember when someone reported the B team was potentially getting a big push?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pushed right over the cliff. So Michael Cole, of course, reminded us, hey, the odds are stacked against Roman. Will he be able to overcome the odds? And then they, of course, go to a commercial because that's what you call suspense.
Were you suspended?
I was totally suspended.
Great.
10 out of 10 suspension. I couldn't believe when it returned from commercial break and then, the B team just looked like jobbers.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. And it's really nice to see the Shane McMahon not going away ever. Yeah. So that's nice.
Not going away, and Roman, being able to basically beat the B team with Elias also trying to interfere. He can just beat the whole roster, all odds stacked against him. There's no suspension of, it's like you look back at some of the Austin McMahon stuff, and they at least tried to tease Austin could lose. He had a series of matches there against Dude Love, and Vince was the referee, and they at least tried to give you the idea that Austin could lose with the odds stacked against him, and it was believable. Mm-hmm. This just isn't believable.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not. And I think. Do you think we're going to get that rumored Shane versus Roman match?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, Shane's in a steel cage match, Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a big match for the Superfest.
Superfest. Oh, great. That's fantastic. Are we missing anything else, to be honest with you? Does it matter?
Not really. But no, seriously, it doesn't matter. That's the thing about it. Like, you could skip this week's show, and it doesn't matter. You don't miss anything per se.
No. Well, you miss Bailey as Charlotte. I'm sorry, not Charlotte. I'm tired. Bailey and Becky wrestling.
Well, this SmackDown has put you to sleep tonight as we record this. I mean,
yeah,
I can understand why. In SmackDown, you've got a bunch of little guys: Finn Balor and Ali, and Andrade and Orton, who is not a little guy. And they are the main event. Actually, you've got Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And Kofi Kingston. I guess that was the main event segment.
Yeah.
But they have a little fight. And, the whole Kevin Owens thing is boring. It was a very predictable heel turn and not predictable in a good way. And they're going to have a match at Money in the Bank for the WWE Championship. And, Kevin Owens is not going to win. And that's going to be that.
Because I have to ask your thoughts on Sami Zayn's promo.
I thought it was pretty good.
Not as good as his last few.
Nope, not as good. And I think he's risking really becoming bad if he doesn't add more to it. Like there's got to be something else other than the same coming out every week and kind of saying the same thing. But it's actually getting worse every week. So he's got to change it up. They've got to do something so that it. And I think they did good in that. Okay, so. Last week it was like, oh, well, I went to all these exotic places, blah, blah, blah. And that was really kind of stupid because they didn't tie it into, well, what I actually liked about that was I wasn't around you guys, like, the fans.
Yeah.
And so they tried to cover that up this week by mentioning it, but they need to tie those things together and they need to continue to be creative with the speeches that he makes rather than the same thing every week.
Yeah, he's gonna jump the shark.
Yeah, exactly.
And Vince needs to know that he can't give it a couple weeks off, have him wrestle, and then have him come back and do it.
Right.
Or something like that. I mean, they're not all that dumb. They could figure it out, maybe. Anything else? I'm looking through YouTube. Like, did you miss anything? Roman talked, hooray. The Hardys surrendered the titles,
which they never defended.
Which they never defended. Paige is with her tag team.
Yeah, the Pirate People, and they defeated the local team, whoever the hell the local team of jobbers was.
Now, okay, illogical storytelling. Outtake number 6. Whenever the Iconics, who were they even on the show either show this week?
Iconics were on the show.
Are you sure?
I thought.
Are you? I don't think they were.
Were they not on the show?
I don't think they were on the show at all. Either one. They weren't, unless they were on SmackDown.
Well, that's what I mean. They definitely weren't on Raw.
Yeah. Anywho.
Okay. So they were on commentary for the Pirate People and local jobbers match.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But they weren't actually in a match per se.
Okay.
Yeah. We got to build for that highly anticipated title match between the Pirate People and the Iconics.
The Pirate People. No, the reason I bring that up is because the Iconics brought out a local tag team from New York and they wrestled them, and Paige gave them shit for beating them in 2 minutes. Now Paige is having the Pirate Princesses beat local jobbers in 2 minutes, but I thought Paige didn't. I thought she felt that wasn't fair, but she's doing it anyway.
Sounds like Paige is a hypocrite, John.
I just spot out hypocrisies everywhere I can.
Yeah,
because none of it makes.
That's what we do here. We point out hypocrisies.
That's true. So we are going to get into news. There's a shit ton of it, but I wanted to bring something up from actually Mr. Meltzer himself. And excuse me if you're going to talk about it, then I will refrain. So do you know? Are we going to talk about anything about drug testing this evening?
No, but I'm not going to talk about that. But you are certainly welcome to.
Okay. There is a report right now, according to the Meltz himself,
quote unquote report. Yeah.
Yeah. There are at least a couple of talents in WWE who have attempted to fail or have contemplated failing drug tests in order to get out of their contracts. And then Dave clarified on his message board and said that one guy tried, it didn't work. 2 others told me later they were going to try and do it. I told them it doesn't work, so they didn't. This is all some time back. So there you have that. That's the latest right now. That happened about an hour ago. I don't think that's true.
Gee, What gave you that fucking idea? Oh God, it's kind of you know what he probably did? Like he asked the Magic 8 Ball. I think that's where he came up with that. Not sure though. Allegedly. Um, what about the revival story that just came out?
You don't want your
From
music
our
being played?
friend? Well, we can get to that in a second, but this is
Oh,
actually
okay.
from our friend Cassidy
It
at
is.
bodyslam.net.
Go for it.
Just came out with a report on the revival, which is very, very interesting because as we see, the revival have had 2 months added to WWE's added 2 months to Dashweiler's contract for injury time. So I don't think it was Scott Dawson, but it was one half of the revival.
Mm-hmm.
And so the official report from Cassidy, which did just come out as we record this, we know they were offered a $550,000 deal per year. They have no intention of signing anything until they see if things change over the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we saw on Monday Night Raw was, in my opinion, punishment for not signing the contract. We saw them in a segment where they were shaving each other's back in the showers, and
Gross.
the Usos were, yeah, I know, like who has back here? But Usos were videoing them and getting a laugh out of it, and so then we find out they tacked on an extra 2 months to Dashweiler's contract, injury time
Mm-hmm.
from when he had to miss time in 2017 from suffering a broken jaw.
Mm-hmm.
So his current WWE contract will now expire in June instead of April, and that is just unbelievable. I mean, it's petty, and I think it's ridiculous. Yeah, what are your thoughts on it? I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it definitely seems like punishment to me. What do you think, John?
It had Vince written all over it, don't you think? Who else thinks shower segments are funny?
Oh, absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
No, that's a Vince thing through and through, and I just think it's the open pettiness that. I mean, he's now having to put married couples on the same roster, or else they bitch about it and get their way. You know, and it's funny too. I mean, Alexa said when all the catty women are fighting with each other, you're worse than the men.
Yeah, and of course Naomi was recently moved to Raw from SmackDown as well. The Usos, of course, on Raw, and she's married to one of the Usos.
Andrade and Charlotte is another example.
Yeah.
Nikki Cross and one of the Vikings.
I think you mean the Viking Raiders, John.
Who cares? So they're on the same show and they're married. I mean, Charlotte had to go backstage and get her new fiance or boyfriend or whatever the fuck. I don't know if they're married yet. They might be soon enough. Who knows? But they might be going. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's all weird, man. Just weird.
By the way, our friend Donna Corby of
Oh
the
yeah,
Daily Irish Mirror
yeah.
was doing a press event and asked Seth Rollins if essentially, he was dating Becky Lynch.
Oh man.
And he dodged the question, which he just kind of said, "I'll leave that up to you to figure out," or something to that effect.
Yeah.
And then there was some fake outrage online about, "Oh, how dare you ask that question?" But then the story itself does like a ton of views, right? It's like that's one of the most interesting things about the entire product because it's real, and that's what people are interested in. And somehow WWE still has not figured that out.
I don't know if they're ever gonna figure it out though.
Yeah. Okay, it's a good point. Hit my music.
Oh, I gotta prepare. Hold on. Gosh,
I think I'm cute.
that's not your
No,
music.
I'm sexy. Oh, yeah. You're right. That's the wrong music.
That's not your music. Frick, I gotta find it. Here we go.
All right, it's time for breaking news with Brad Shepard at the Brad Shepard on Twitter, SHEPARD. Let's dive right into it. Current plans for the Saudi Arabia show include both The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar.
Ugh.
The date and location for the Saudi Arabia show is not yet solid, though. And that could potentially change things for Brock.
I thought it was for sure in June, like June 6th.
It was moved to June. The exact date is not yet solid. That is as of early this week.
Okay.
The Undertaker is set to be there regardless of the date, which could change things for Brock.
Yeah. Is it odd to you that their prime minister just beheaded 38 people?
And I don't think it's odd because that's what they do. So in that context, no.
Well, should it be odd for Vince to want to go there?
I don't think they're going to behead Vince.
Well, nah, I don't want that.
Yeah. According to a source in the company, they believe WWE is wearing the Becky Lynch thing out. They believe 2 matches at Money in the Bank will be the first cracks in the Becky Lynch armor, so to speak, and they believe the crowd would pop if Lacey Evans won. So very interesting to get a perspective from somebody in WWE as to how they feel the Becky Lynch thing is continuing to play out.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I mean, do you agree it is wearing thin? It's wearing out?
I think the creativity is gone, and they're not doing her any favors. She was at her best when she was just beating people up and not talking as much.
A source in the company recently described the Superstar shakeup as an annoying pain in the ass for everyone from the top down, especially with them changing their minds on a couple of superstars at last minute.
Mm-hmm.
Could you see that? I mean, I would imagine something like, just the logistics of a superstar shakeup and then continuing to change your mind so much at the last minute or after the fact would be a big logistical pain in the ass.
It always is. And no matter what happens, oh wow, Cassidy's story is kind of going crazy here. Good for him. Good for you. It's all illogical, and none of it makes sense. And it's not going to get any better because Vince is at the helm. And we've been saying that for months, if not years. And who honestly knows when it will get any better at this point.
A source in the company recently told me a story about Vince McMahon telling people in WWE that he knew CM Punk couldn't fight. And this was, I'm told, way before his first UFC fight.
Mm-hmm.
Vince actually said he would rather see Punk win, but he knew he wouldn't because Punk's just not that kind of person to take a punch and give one right back. With that being said, I was also told no matter what anyone says, they would love to have him back, which I found very interesting. But what are your thoughts on that statement and also Vince telling people within the company that Punk is not the type of person to take a punch and give it right back? I thought that was very telling considering his booking as a top guy in the company.
Everyone's different behind the scenes. I mean, you just never know. I mean, there's been stories that have came out that, Punk would snap all the time, right? He had a really short fuse. So to me, it's not surprising whatsoever. The guy can talk the best maybe ever. He can talk a big game, but can he back it up? I don't know. I mean, his fighting spoke for itself. That's all you need to know is just watch the tape. As far as them wanting him back, fuck no. It's not surprising at all. Guy had one of the biggest impacts on their ratings and their merchandise that they've had this century. Okay. I scratched that since the decade. The decade. Yeah. Well, I was thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, that's an exaggeration. No, the decade. I mean, he was easily one of the biggest stars that they've ever had at one time. from a popularity standpoint, especially when wrestling was not doing well at all. So he kind of, took them out of the toilet. But they want to make money. Punk would be a cash cow, especially after that UFC. The casual audience will know who he is way more than they ever did.
Yeah. John Cena and The Undertaker are both expected to be on the debut of SmackDown Live on Fox.
Oh, that's great. Good. As expected.
Yeah. No surprise there. They're going to pull out the big guns for Fox.
Mm-hmm.
This one's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There have been some reports on Lio Rush. And Lio Rush has made some changes to his social media, removing WWE Superstar from his Instagram profile. He posted an Instagram picture of him in a hotel room watching The Impractical Jokers. And so I got an update on Lio Rush that I want to share. WWE is more or less holding Lio Rush hostage to punish him for what they perceive as bad behavior. The stories other outlets have reported about him are generally true, and I'm told they're done with what they perceive as his ego. The company is done with what they perceive as his ego.
Good.
Titus O'Neil has been mentoring and protecting him, but Rush is seen as too hard-headed, and I'm told if they can't work out a deal for him to return to 205 Live, he could be gone from the company shortly.
What about NXT?
That is something that Mike Johnson has reported. That is not something I have heard. Okay. One thing is for sure, and I was told this several days ago, that he did receive the boot from the main roster.
Now I have to hear Bobby Lashley talk in the third person all the time.
Yeah, which is going to be quite annoying.
Oh yeah. I don't like Lio Rush, so he can screw off. That's fine.
Last week, I reported that Sasha Banks was expected to return on the Money in the Bank Go Home show and be a part of that Money in the Bank women's ladder match. Of course, how she ended up in that match was never specified. We know the participants were announced on SmackDown Live tonight as we record this. So in the ever-evolving Sasha saga, say that 5 times fast, I was told as of Monday that they're considering having her take out someone already in the Money in the Bank ladder match on the pay-per-view go-home show and take their place, or attack Dana Brooke at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view itself and take her spot.
Yeah, Dana Brooke doesn't fit.
Yeah. So watch out for that.
Great.
I know you're disappointed. You wanted that Dana Brooke ladder match moment.
Yes, I sure did.
Yeah.
More than anything else in the world.
I was told WWE is strongly considering having Lacey Evans defeat Becky Lynch at Money in the Bank. Vince McMahon is very high on Evans and thinks it would be a quote-unquote shocking moment if she won.
It would. It absolutely would. I wouldn't hate it either. You know what? I mean, as much as I love Becky as a fan, shock me. I don't care how you do it. If you shock me and it works, I'm all for it.
And finally, according to Brett Okamoto of ESPN, UFC president Dana White told him Brock Lesnar is retired from UFC. But there's an even bigger story which hasn't been reported yet. Brock had a conversation with Vince McMahon over the weekend and wants to retire from WWE at WrestleMania 36.
Huh. Well then.
That's huge.
It is huge. Where And who do you think would wrestle him?
Well, of course, you got to put Roman over him one more time, pal.
No way. Do you really think so?
Oh, would that not be hilarious? I have no idea, but that would be funny though. Roman versus Brock. What was the Triple H and Undertaker match? It was, what did they call it? Once
in a life? No. End of an era.
End of an era. Brock versus Roman. End of an era.
What would that? How many matches have they wrestled? 4?
400? I don't know. Like a lot.
2 at Mania. 3 at Mania. 2 at Mania. 2. At least a SummerSlam or Survivor Series. A random throwaway pay-per-view.
Yeah, but absolutely. I mean, and him not taking the fight at UFC, it makes sense. Yeah, knowing what I do and sitting on this one for the podcast. For our listeners, our wonderful listeners who we love, and we give this content to 100% free.
Yep.
I thought this was interesting, and it makes sense. He wants to kind of wrap things up probably, and then, go hunting in Canada and, I don't know, milk cows. I don't know what they do. Like,
kills a bear with his bare hands.
Yeah, exactly. Read some more of that Outdoorsman magazine. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he has Rena.
Yeah.
By his side.
Yeah, doing some more of that too. I would
Does he have any kids?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he has any kids. Have we seen his kids?
Possibly. I don't know.
Are they allowed out of the dungeon?
Yeah, they just have to beat him in a shoot fight first. Like, they can't pass through the door until they, obviously tap him out or knock him out. It's UFC rules. Because it's not fake, it's an actual shoot fight.
Yeah, so he has, let's see. He has one son named Luke, which is with his ex-girlfriend. Then he has a daughter named Maya. Oh my dear God. Looks just like Brock. I'll send you, if this is accurate, I'll send you this link. Also with the ex-girlfriend. And then a son, Turk, who is with and Duke with Sable. They both look like Brock as well. I'm gonna send this to you right now because we'll get your live reaction on the podcast.
I don't know if this is a good idea.
Oh, this is a great idea. So okay, where can we find you on Twitter?
At the Brad Shepard on Twitter, SHEPARD. Of course, follow all of my work on ProSportsExtra.com. We're sponsored by Seat Giant. So definitely get your tickets there, unless you want to pay more at PayPal or Ticketmaster. I don't care. Wherever
you don't buy tickets on PayPal.
Okay, wherever else you get expensive tickets. I don't know, because I don't use them. I use Seat Giant, and I use the code. You know what it is. It's for our show.
It's OYDKWS.
Exactly that.
And you can find me at John Fisher TV on Twitter. Did you get the picture?
Oh God. This is terrible. I'm not even commenting. Okay. I will say it does, very much look like Brock's child.
Yes, it certainly does. Yeah, find me at John Fisher TV on Twitter. If I didn't already say that, I'm losing my mind. You can find us on Spotify. Here I am yawning again. Oh my God, I can't help myself. Anywho, that's enough of that. You find us on Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, Stitcher, and iTunes. Rate us 5 stars on the platforms you can. Follow us on the platforms that you can. Is there anything else you'd like to say? I deleted that picture off my phone. I can't do
it. Yeah, definitely not.
Okay, we'll see you next week.